Hey YouTube, Shelka04 here, or some people know me as John, whatever. What I want to talk to you today about is our thoughts and feelings and frustrations actually in talking with friends and family about our concerns with climate change, the economy, near term human extinction, call it what you want, but we all basically know what we're talking about. Just give you a little background on who we are. Andrea, my fiance, and I owned a mobile home park in New Mexico for 9 years. And in sorry, early 2014, I saw a presentation by Guy McPherson discussing climate change. It was one of these hour and a half long jobs that he did up in Tacoma, Washington. Here, let me move the camera. I think it's jiggling a little bit. Anyway, I watched Guy McPherson's presentation twice, and then I laid in bed and couldn't sleep that night. And I woke up, I don't know, maybe I fell asleep for 5 minutes. Woke up the next morning basically and showed the same presentation to Andrea. We then talked for the next 2 hours and decided there and then to sell the mobile home park. We accepted an offer 2 days later. And here's why. Living in New Mexico, we had concerns about the water table and the availability of water and what was that going to be like in the future. We had also seen during the 9 years that we had been there subtle changes in the environment. And we didn't even grow up there, we just moved there. So over 9 years, we saw some real drastic swings in the weather. And the third thing was, because we were in the property management business, basically, we had 42 tenants who we were relying on to be happy and healthy and productive in their lives. And so if something related to the environment or the economy affected them, ultimately it would trickle down and affect us. So that's why we decided to bail, and bail big. What we did is we sold the property and we bought an RV and are traveling around the country now trying to find a place to homestead, because what I want to do is sort of live like Amish with all the technology: solar panels, wind generators, computers, timers, everything, freezers, freeze dryers, you name it. Whatever we can do to make our lives easier, we're going to have it, but we're going to live out there. Anyway, that's another video. So what we've been doing is driving around, looking at places and also talking to friends and family along the way, and that gets back to the point of this video. We talked to my family, we've talked to Andrea's family, we've talked to definitely and most certainly a lot of more of my friends probably, and we've stayed with and that's sort of how these conversations have taken place. Under the guise of, hey, we're going to come and visit you for the evening, sleep out in the RV in your driveway, and then we'll see you, for breakfast the next day, and then we'll leave. Under the guise of that kind of encounter, I've got buddies that I've run into fourth or fifth grade of elementary school. So we've seen a lot of people along the way. Now, they fall into a couple of groups. I'm not sure how many different groups there are. There are the people who, and one of them comes to mind, I've known since, like I said, fifth grade. I couldn't even broach the subject with them. I didn't know where to start. There was so much going on in their lives, and they were so much entrenched in today and right now and all that I didn't know what to say. I didn't know, which is funny because of all the people, this is probably the person I've known the longest, and couldn't do it. I don't know. Just something happened there. Couldn't have that conversation. There have been points in the past where I've tried to talk to my immediate family, my parents and my brothers, about concerns about the environment. And it's funny. My thought is that there's going to be a tie, or the sequence of events will be our $1.3 trillion in debt will somehow cause a stumbling in the world economy. And the dollar is the currency, the world currency, basically, as we know. So I'm worried that at some point the economy will stumble, causing the industrial machine to slow down, which will in turn cause the environmental antics, if you want to call it that, to increase. And so that's what I think is going to happen. I'm not worried about a big tsunami or a polar flip or Yellowstone blowing up or any of that. And there are people who are worried about that, and that's fine. I don't, they're environmentally aware in their own way, and they're doing their own thing. That's great. I don't care. But my thing is the economy and the weather. So, like I said, I tried to talk to my family, my parents, and my brothers, and they don't get it. No, they don't get it at all. And let's see, my brother, one brother refers to me, I think, jokingly as the environmental nut job or whack job, one of those. I can't remember which. And my mom just basically asks, have you bought the spinach farm yet? When are you going to start growing spinach? What do you know about growing spinach? I don't know. Spinach seems to be the thing. But they don't really get it. And I've tried to discuss. And the funny thing is, don't get me wrong, that Andrea and I are both well educated and pretty well spoken. So I think that we can make our point pretty easily, especially when we've got a whole plethora of articles, information, websites, blah, 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 that we could refer back to. But it doesn't work, especially with the family. No interest. And see, part of the problem is that in our idea in looking to homestead is we're trying to buy a piece of land, at least size-wise, that if in 6 months or 6 years somebody showed up because their job had now been replaced by some robotic device, or they got fired 6 months before retirement or something, or the drop in the stock market wiped out all of their savings, that we at least would be the one group or the one couple that could say, there you go, those 5 acres over there behind the hill are yours. We'll see you once a week when we swap goat milk and bread. And that doesn't really seem to be settling in with the people that we talk to. Now, there have been some people that we've tried to talk to, and these are the people who I consider really smart, a lot smarter than I. And I've pointed them towards one of Guy McPherson's talks. And the most interesting response, and it's a common response, is one of these like, well, that's very interesting, but I'd like to know, or I'd like to see more of the facts. And I mean, it's funny. The funny thing is, or let's face it, right there, the conversation ends because these people aren't going to go out and conduct any sort of empirical experiments on their own. They're just they've dismissed the conversation completely. That whole guise of let me do my own research. Whoever does that, you can. I mean, if that involves searching the internet for whatever, then I mean, obviously you can find pro climate change videos and you can find anti-climate change videos. So the 2 or 3 friends that I thought would really get it because of their scientific background, nothing there. I've got, there was a coworker actually when I was in computers working at a hospital, and strangely enough, she's really in tune with it. So Wendy, if you're watching this, you get thumbs up. You're one of the few people who are in the know. There are some people who are, lukewarm to the idea of climate change, and they're big on the hopium thing, I think is what you might call it. The whole notion that, well, I know that the earth is turning to shit, is what they would say, but I like to believe that, somebody somewhere is doing something about it. And I don't think they are, first off. And second off, if they are, it's too late. I'm one of those people who thinks that, the handle's been pulled and the world is now going around the bowl, rapidly heading towards the little hole at the bottom. So, I don't know what to do about talking to friends or family. There's only one couple that I can think of. And it's funny, they initially were pretty open talking with their kids. We, early in the evening, we saw them, they were talking with their kids about, it was current events, it was something. And because of that, because they said, basically, we don't keep anything from our kids. They're members of society just like we are. And so we talk to them about the news and current events and solicit their ideas as much as we share our own. It was that couple that we tuned in on our thoughts about the environment. And they basically said, "You're right. If you come up with something and we can participate in it, let us know. We're up for it." So there are those people out there, but there are not many of them. They're far and few between. And unfortunately, I think, again, getting back to friends and family, and particularly family, I don't know any easy solution. The idea of Chicken Little, running around screaming the sky is falling is sort of the way you feel. And yet, here's the funny thing. You want to talk to people about this because, one, you want to share your concerns. Hey, I'm worried that things are going to turn to shit in 5 years and you're not canning it like you used to 20 years ago. Something like that. Or, you're buying a brand new car when you should be buying a brand new, SUV or tank or something. There are plenty of conversations you can have out there. But you can't really do that. Now, again, getting back to it, you want to be able to talk to those people and express your concern. But the funny thing is, I also want to have these conversations for what I would call the insane factor. Because without having peer, other than Andrea, that I can discuss my ideas with and my concerns with, watching the stock market, watching every day there seems to be something on Yahoo News about NASA says that it's locked in that the sea level is going to rise 3 feet in the next 50 years. This kind of stuff. Seeing and reading and seeing. You want to talk to somebody else and say, "Hey, did you see that? Does that bother you? Are you worried about that?" Because, by not having anybody to talk to, you start wondering if you yourself are nuts. Because nobody else seems to care. It's like, do I care too much? Or am I one of the few who, didn't drink the Kool-Aid? This is the thought process and all the secular thinking that goes on. And really there's no solution there either. Which is one of the reasons I made this video, honestly. Is this group. I'm going to post this on the Facebook Near-Term Human Extinction group. And you people, if you've made it this far, I thank you. I'd ask you to subscribe to my channel, but the fact that you made it this far maybe means that you think I'm interesting and I have something of worth to say and contribute. But I'd really like to hear what your opinions are and what your thoughts are, because, as I said, I don't feel like I'm necessarily a complete idiot about this. And yet, I don't feel like we've got anybody to talk to about this. Either they didn't want to hear it, or they don't understand it, or they don't think it applies to them, or what. But it worries me, because as I said, I don't think there's any way to talk to people about this that they will understand or appreciate. So I welcome the opportunity to talk with you or listen to your thoughts. I don't know, that's all I have to say. It's John or Shelka04 out. If you want, do me a favor, subscribe to my channel. If not, then so be it. Thank you. Talk to you. Bye.